I'm Carrie Stinson, and my journey through life has been quite an adventure. For over 20 years, I played Barney the Dinosaur on tour and 7 seasons of the hugely popular TV show Barney and Friends. Now my journey is to bring together friends and guests from all over the entertainment world for inspiring and at times amusing behind-the-scenes conversation. I'm Carrie Stinson, and this is Purple Roads. Welcome to Purple Roads. I'm Carrie Stinson. This is the show where we have conversations with people from the children's entertainment world and pop culture. Thank you so much to Infusion HF70 Plus for sponsoring Purple Roads. I am so thrilled you're here today. You know, the last several weeks, we've had some puppeteers here. We've had some actors that do body costume work. And we've talked about the difficulties and all the things it takes to make those happen. Well, this week, I thought it'd be so cool to go and actually talk to where these puppets, these costumes are made. So we have this week from Axtell Expressions, Steve Axtell. How are you, Steve?
Hey, Carrie. Very good. Thank you so much. This is an honor.
Well, I'm thrilled you're here. And we'll get later into this conversation, talk about we actually almost worked together in a way.
Several opportunities.
So, you know, everyone that this show, obviously you can hear this audio-wise, but get a chance, go watch this on YouTube, and you'll see all these cool creatures that are behind you. So, Steve, I want to start out with, how did you get started into this world of puppets?
Well, that's a great question. When I was a little kid, I'm going to take you over to this wall. My mother was having me do some crafts with her, and I told her that I want to make a puppet. And she said, well, if you're going to learn how to make a puppet, you're going to learn how to sew and cut. And she handed me some scissors. And I was 6 years old when we made this little puppet, and she saved it for me. So I'll show you this to you.
Oh, my
that
goodness.
Little guy right there.
How cool is that?
Which is really cool. It's neat that she saved it. Of course, everybody's got something that they've saved, but because I turned it out making puppets for a living, that's kind of a neat little keepsake. But when I was 14 years old, I saw Jim Henson I saw Sesame Street. My aunt had a television set that could receive PBS, I guess. I don't know why we never saw it at our house, but when I was at my aunt's house, she had Sesame Street on, and I could not believe it. I was 14, and I went home immediately and began making all of the Muppets. So here's a picture at 14 of my copies of the Muppets.
Oh, my gosh, that is so cool.
Let me go. There we go. A little bit more like that or something like that. Yeah, so what happened then was my mom sent this newspaper article that had this picture in it to Jim Henson, and I got a letter back from them, and it said, hey, Steve, you know, you've got a lot of talent. You should join the Puppeteers of America, and you should find some local puppet people to work with and get your skills up, and just don't make Muppets. Find your own look. Find your own characters. So this is so I immediately stopped making copies. I don't know if you could see them, but there was Kermit and Oscar in the trash can, and I had Ernie in the middle there behind Betty, which Betty was a girlfriend of Oscar's. I had created.
How amazing is it to get inspiration and get a letter from Jim Henson?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was truly amazing. And because he inspired me and because I didn't want to offend him in any way, of course, I thought I had destroyed my reputation. And I felt so horrible as a 14-year-old kid thinking that I had made him upset or sad that I had copied his stuff. So I stopped copying everything at that point. And this is a picture here of I started my puppet making career at 16.
Wow.
And then this is like around 19, just before I got married. And I was performing on weekends and stuff, and people were buying my puppets. And so the story wraps around. It's pretty interesting. I had started selling puppets, and we had started our business in 1982, my wife and I. and in our garage and bedrooms and stuff. And we went along, and I mean, it's been building and building, and we've definitely got a look of our own. And then all of a sudden, about 5-6 years ago, I get a call from Lewis Mitchell, who's a producer at Sesame Street. This is Lewis right here with Cookie.
Yeah. We all know that well.
And he said, yeah. And he said, Steve, I want to introduce myself to you, Lewis Mitchell from Sesame Street, and we want you to know how much you inspire us.
Oh.
And I couldn't believe it. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, we watch your videos all the time, and I've got your platypus video here in my office going all the time. People come in and ask me to turn it off. It's on so much. And he said, so we've had a great relationship over the years, and they sent me this poster here, which is cool. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but right here is Carol Spinney, signed it for Big Bird, who I never got to meet, but Carol had bought several of my puppets because he used to tour.
Wow.
And I know you know Carol.
I worked with Carol, yes.
Yeah.
He was such an inspiration.
Cool. A wonderful man. Yeah. And he used to buy some of my puppets to make his tours. When he would do school shows and such, he wasn't allowed to take Big Bird around with him. And so they did not want him to be seen with the character,
sure.
Like to reveal the inside of the character.
Right.
So he would perform with my puppets when he did school appearances and such.
Oh, that's so cool. I want to ask you, as we're talking about all this, don't you feel that what Jim Henson was doing when he sent you that letter was really to inspire you and your own creativity, right?
Absolutely. There's no question about it. He didn't, in no way. I mean, they did have some, I think the newspaper article, as everybody did in the 80s or 70s, late 70s, everybody was, and their Muppets, back in the day, they didn't even call them puppets anymore after Jim Henson came on the scene. It was Muppets everywhere. So the newspaper article said Steve and his Muppets, just like all performers at the time, probably. But anyway, they have to protect their brand, and that wasn't. But he absolutely meant to inspire me through his team, and I've been able to work with some of their writers over the years, Craig Shemin, and on different PBS productions. We've done our own series, Jack Houston's Imagine Land, which I've got the characters here, which is these guys here, and they are part of a series that is still running throughout the South. It was nationwide, and it was really good. This was shot probably back in the mid 90s.
Okay.
But those puppets have since been retired, and I've got them here in our warehouse along with all the other stuff.
Hey, so Steve, I want to ask you, where do you get your inspiration for these characters? When you're building a puppet, what inspires you?
Sometimes, most of the time, it will come from the customer. So in the case of DreamWorks, for example, they wanted puppets made of their Madagascar characters here. And these puppets we were able to make from the models of the 3D animation. This is the stars. Jeffrey Katzenberg had the stars go with on the jet plane to the red carpet opening premiere in New York City. And these are the puppets that we built that they held.
Wow. Those are gorgeous.
And so, same with Veggie Tales, which we had the license to. All of these Veggie Tales I'm having trouble with my angles on the phone. Sorry.
I'm blown away by every angle I'm seeing here. So
there we go.
Don't worry about that. It's amazing.
There we go. So those are Veggie Tales, and so those come from the customers. And a lot of times, customers will send us a design and say, "Can you make this into a puppet?"
Mm-hmm.
And other times, it's our own creation. I'll have an inclination to make something like this character Quimby that we are going to be producing, which is a fantasy-based elf goblin character. And this guy is really going to be cool. He's going to be an animatronic, part of a very big wall display that's going to represent. I've got a drawing here. He's going to be part of an AI display where a theme park would understand how a character in a theme park could be part of a storyline. And so you're going to be able to walk right up to characters one of these days in theme parks and just talk to Yoda or talk to famous characters that you know in their own voice, not synthesized.
Well, now you have some AI characters there, right?
Yes.
Can you
It's a new
show us
development
one
that
and we
we've been
can
working on.
explain AI characters to our
Yeah.
listeners and viewers?
Yes. So the volume. I'm going to get him set up here. This is our old man character right here. Let's see if so. It's conversational. We call it Axtell intelligence. So it's a conversational AI. And
well, thank you. And so are you.
Hey, what's your name?
Einstein or Rockefeller or whatever it needs to be for you to leave me alone.
Wow.
How old are you?
Well, if we added the years between you and me
Yeah.
and subtracted you,
Yeah.
you would know the answer.
Okay. Can you tell us a joke?
This is funny. A friend of mine, he's 82 years old, went to the doctor to get a physical. A few days later, the doctor saw him walking down the street with a gorgeous young woman on his arm.
Yeah.
A couple days later, the doctor said, "Hey, you're really doing great, aren't you?" He said, "Yeah, just doing what you said, Doc. Get a hot mama and be cheerful."
Okay.
The doctor said, "I didn't say that. I said you got a heart murmur. Be careful."
And one more. Let's see. Do you sing?
Huh? I don't know what you're talking about.
Could you
Good grief.
could you sing us a song?
When the moon hits the sky like a big pizza pie, that's a mess.
Wow.
Where do you live?
I'm not telling you. You're probably a stalker.
Okay. All right. See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile. Now go back to your swamp.
Oh my God, that's
Okay,
amazing,
bye-bye.
Steve.
So that's going up into our database in the cloud, and this is something I'm patent pending on right now. So we're hoping that this really goes big in theme parks and in restaurants. We have one installation. We have several installations, theater, but one in a particular chicken restaurant in Tennessee, the Frizzle Chicken Farmhouse Cafe, where you walk in the door and you're greeted by a host that's a chicken there.
How many?
Here's
So it can respond to any question. I mean,
yes, any question. In fact, our database allows for any question that doesn't have a response to it. It'll collect those, and it gives us a list of what those are, so that we can then make sure that we've got better answers or more thorough answers. So we can be recording, like a whole week at an event, and we'll have a whole list of the questions that were asked of it.
wow.
So we can update it.
How long does it take to put something like that together? From building the puppet to the whole recording and all the aspects of it.
Yeah, the animatronics alone take a tremendous amount to build, and they're weeks, if not months, of building. This is our animatronics department right here. This is Wes Gonzalez.
Hello, Wes.
They're saying hello. Can't hear them because I've got an earbud in.
Yep.
But Wes is building animatronics here. This is some of the stuff that he's doing, and they take just a lot of work. This is a fun character that we've just made. This is the same old guy, but in an Army vet's uniform. He'll be performing soon. This is a character from Dubai that's going to be on Dubai television. It's a granny character. That is a famous character there, and a tiki back here. But we have them made. We have customers all over the world. These are just some of the pictures that use our animatronics. And yeah, I mean, it's a very busy place.
Is this what you're mainly doing these days, is AI, or are you still doing a lot of puppets as well?
A lot of puppets, yeah. A lot of puppets. This is a remote control puppet right here, this toucan. Okay. Hi there. Hello. So I'm doing ventriloquism and triggering this little fob to open and close its mouth. So I'll show you, like, here's his face, and I'm going to open his mouth right now. There, I've got it open. And so this fob just would be down by my side, and I could carry on a conversation with it. Yes, you could. Well, how are you doing today? Oh, good. Tell them what you are. I are a bird. No, I am a bird. I don't see any feathers. Not me. I'm not a bird. So this is what a lot of our customers as ventriloquists would use, either puppet or animatronic. And we do a lot of puppets. I'll show you that part of the facility if you don't mind.
No, I don't. I want to ask you about we're whipping through all this, which is unbelievable. I've got so many questions on the ventriloquism. So that's really switched from the days of putting your hand back, up in the puppet and using the arms. Now you're using fobs.
Well, that's what we call a hands-free puppet. And so we've got remote control puppets that are hands-free, and we've got puppets that you put your hands in, like all of the characters that are on the wall here. These, of course, it's hard for me to do it one-handed,
sure.
But obviously, these are all hand puppets here. And these are some heads that we've made of some famous people.
Yeah,
this is
some of those
Simon Cowell. This is Simon Cowell that we made for NBC. And that was used on television with Darcy Lynn, the ventriloquist that won America's Got Talent. Then back behind Shaq, or behind Simon, is Shaq back here. And Shaq had us make a puppet of him, and this is him in the Hall of Presidents here. Wow. So we've got Reagan and Bush and Clinton and Obama and Mr. Trump. And oh no, not a president.
Oh my gosh! So you find with ventriloquists, it's just up to what they want to do, and you're basically being able to create, whether it's hands in the puppet or whatever they want to work with. That's kind of what you're doing, up to the specifications of the puppet, of the ventriloquist?
I'll tell you, I'm gonna see if I can show you this. We've got even we have a lot of novelties for ventriloquists as well. So ventriloquists are pretty big with Axtell expressions. So we have all kinds of props. Here's one. This is called the mic mouth, and a ventriloquist would put this over the mouth of a volunteer, like standing over here, and make them talk. So this is kind of like the vent mask, if you've ever seen a ventriloquist use a vent mask. But this allows them to make their audience members say whatever they want to say or sing or whatever, and totally embarrass them at all expense. So, and it's really great fun. So that's called the mic mouth. But we do a lot of novelties. And another one of our novelties that I had a patent on, I have a patent on, was the magic drawing board, where you can draw a face on the board and it totally comes to life. The cartoon comes to life right on the tablet, and you can see the character talking. It's pretty fascinating.
And do you have that?
I wanted to show you.
Do you have that?
I do. I've got one. I can show you.
I want to see that.
I wanted to show you. These are some of our collections of puppets. People that have used or have more than 10 puppets in their shows. And this is some of we call these power users. and they're all over the walls of our studio.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. All of these power users are from all over the world, of course. Italy, Singapore,
Wow.
China, England, you name it. Norway, Denmark.
So
And here's some of our crew.
I was going to say, so you have
Yep.
working on all these puppets?
I've got a crew of about 8 to 10 different people. Take you through. See, so hi guys.
Hello, hello.
Say hi. This is Jose Cruz, our production manager. Jose, what do you have going in here? Oh, look at this.
Wow.
This is a really cool little triceratops that we're building here. This was made famous by David Strassman, and you can see this on YouTube. These characters, they sing Bohemian Rhapsody with David. They were an animatronic, but right now we have this is a hand puppet that's being made. This is silicone in a new skin that we're doing, and this is a diva. This is a diva here that's a singer, and she will be. This is an animatronic also, and she is going to David Ray, who's does cruise ships, and will be playing the piano, and she'll be sitting on his grand piano and singing with him, singing duets and such. So that's going on there. Let's see. What do you got, Chella? Oh, Chella's got the wild thing. Look at the lips on that thing. Woo! There we go. Fun stuff.
So you don't have much going on right now, I can see. Oh, Lord.
No, not much. No.
It's kind of boring around
we got
that
stuff
shop.
going out all over the place that we're having to build and make for orders. We just can't keep up with the orders, honestly. It's just been crazy. And this is our buffing station, kind of the ugly side, but we take a lot of care to make sure that the skin is smooth, because when it comes out of the mold, it could have a lot of bumps and warts like this.
Right.
You have to buff it off, make it really smooth for painting. And our shipping department and customer service behind the door there, they're probably on the phone with customers right now. So that's the facility.
So how long from so a client, a customer orders a puppet? How long is it taking you from the beginning of that process to the end? How much time to complete a project?
Used to be, our goal was 3 to 4 weeks for a standard, not for a custom, but a standard puppet.
Okay.
But because of all the orders and the demand that we have right now, it's more like 8 to 10 weeks.
Wow.
And that's a long time, but the work is quality, and we have the best team that we can have here working on things. So it takes a little longer to have something this good.
Well, it's obvious, and your clients obviously know this. This is why you're backed up so much.
They still complain.
Oh, well, sure. Especially these days, right? We want everything now.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Instant. I would love to have everything in stock, but it's just not a reality. We're not Walmart.
How in the world could you have everything in stock? I've seen some stuff I've never seen before, and we've only been walking around for 20 minutes.
None of this is, most of it's just a collection of things that I've got. I am doing auctions every Wednesday, clearing out my attic. We call it Axtell's Attic on Facebook, and I've got an auction every Wednesday where we sell some of the old stuff.
I can only imagine what's in that attic.
So much stuff. We're in our 39th year, so next year we'll be celebrating 40 years with this. So.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you. A lot of stuff stored up.
Yeah, I guess so. So when you do you still create original puppets yourself?
Yes. Most of these are sculpted by me, and I'm still doing a lot of work. In fact, my most recent work is pretty interesting. I'm designing in ZBrush, doing a lot of digital design of my characters now instead of just sculpting in clay, and that's digital clay. So basically, I'm sculpting with a tablet and creating characters that will be cast in silicone. And what we're doing then is taking the 3D model that came out of ZBrush and printing molds. And so here's a 3D mold that we printed. This is very big, but this is a mold for a puppet head.
Wow.
And this mold was 3D printed. The inside of the mold is where all the detail is. And that's where we cast the silicone. And for example, this is an example of the silicone that was cast in it.
Wow.
And this becomes the skin of the character. So we're going from digital puppet to 3D model to printed mold to silicone cast, and then it gets painted and decorated and such.
And what benefits do you get by doing it that way instead of the other way?
Well, part of it is research and development, but because a lot of the studios and theme parks that we're working with, they will already have their characters developed and built as a 3D model. So, for example, anything Pixar, if they ever contacted us and wanted puppets made of their characters, they would be sending us 3D models to begin with. So, to be able to go from their 3D model to a printed mold and to a cast silicone puppet makes it a direct copy of their characters instead of an interpretation or any kind of change that an artist would have to do when they were sculpting it. So that's very helpful. But on the other hand, it's much quicker to make revisions in the digital world than it is in clay. I'm working with a customer in China right now who's having me make a monkey, and we've made 7 different changes on that, and pretty much on the fly, because you can imagine version number 3, he wants the ears bigger. So we make the ears bigger digitally and save it out as version number 4. And if he reverts or changes his mind, we go back to revision number 2 and modify the nose on that one.
Wow. So
you couldn't do that on clay. You have to be stretching, recreating the clay every single time. So it's a big cost savings in that, and allows for quicker changes, which unlocks creativity. As you can imagine, when you're having to go really slow and you're telling the customer that, well, that change is really going to be costly, and if you change your mind, we're going to have to destroy this and go back to the beginning. That kind of limits your creativity. You know what I mean?
I do, and it's saving them money, and I'm speeding up the whole
Yes.
process.
Exactly. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So we really like the research and development end of things. That's why we're doing the AI live virtual sets, which is a digital. Let me see I'm going to see if I can get my board going for you here. Let's see what. Find one.
How big is this place? It looks like you've been walking around for a long time. It's amazing.
It's not so big. It's probably just 5,000 square feet, 6,000. Here's let me get this. I'll see if Ryan can hold this camera for me. Here's Ryan. This is our producer.
Hello.
Ryan Axtell, also part of the family.
Yep.
My son. Just hold that. And they wanted to see the board. Let me just get set up.
Now, does he make puppets as well?
So Ryan is actually the producer. So he does the music and video production work and our social media, and is a musician in his own right. He has his musician-songwriter, and does a lot of our management here. So he's come in as vice president this year, and it's super exciting to work with him.
Oh, that's so cool.
All right, let me grab this. Okay.
So now what is this you're getting ready to demonstrate for us?
This is we call this the magic drawing board, but basically you can make a caricature a little bit lower, tilt it down. There we go. Yep. So I'm just want to show you here how you can draw something on the board.
Okay.
Like a character, like I could draw a famous character or just a caricature of somebody, a cartoon of any kind, really. I'll just do a quick head here, like this. And so, you've done this, you can have a little talk or whatever. And as you begin to, are you alive? Right on. No way. What's your name? Mark. I get it. You look like a real square, Mark. No, I got a girlfriend. Girlfriend? Who? Nancy Drew. Oh. Okay. All right. I say goodbye, Mark. And you can erase him right off the board.
Wow. That's brilliant.
Thank you.
When did you create that?
That was in '86.
Yes.
And I've sold 60 or 70,000 of those by now to the magicians and ventriloquists of the world. David Copperfield has one. Harry Anderson bought one as a birthday present for Jay Johnson, the ventriloquist. It just goes on and on. It's been legendary. It's put our kids through college for sure.
Wow. This is so cool. As you can imagine, I have spent a few times in costume shops over my career.
Yeah.
And it is so cool to see this shop. I've never been to your studio, and it's amazing. And we had mentioned this before.
Anytime.
You were contacted by Cheryl Leach at one point.
Yeah, I was
The creator, Barney.
I was doing, yes, of course, Cheryl Leach. So these characters here, little birds. I was at New York Toy Fair in 91 or 92, and Cheryl was there. Probably
Was I?
doing Barney licenses and such.
Yeah, I was there too.
You were there?
I was. That was my first. Yeah, that was my first in 1992. Was my first toy fair.
Wow. So I was there with these birds on my arm. You were probably in Barney costume, right?
I was.
Oh, I'll be. So Cheryl walked by and noticed me and noticed the characters and asked about. I found out later she was asking some of the toy company that I was with, who is this designer? Who's this guy? So she asked me to come and visit her, and I happened to be shooting in Plano, Texas, at J.C. Penney's studios at the time. Yeah, really big studios. One of the television series that we were doing, and so I was right there, and I went over and saw Cheryl, and it was an amazing experience. I got in the elevator, pushed the button, and it says, "You're going up," and I thought, "Wow, I'm going up," and it just was like a metaphor, I felt like $1 million. So I got up to the top, and she brought me in. She was in there in our office with her dream catchers everywhere, and she said, "I'm very interested in having you come and be a creative director here at Lions Group." And I was like, "Whoa, what?" And so she started talking to me about how would you redesign Barney's costume, and it was a whirlwind of ideas and things and I had the feeling that she had asked a lot of people these questions, and it wasn't just me. But she eventually, I was in my own business and wasn't interested in moving, of course. But she also introduced me to Hasbro and wanted me to be their vice president, and they offered me a position of head of play school, their preschool division. A lot of ideas there. A lot of stuff was going around, and Cheryl was just really wonderful connection. I got into the Barney costume a little bit I didn't get into it like you did, but I started to look and evaluate what a heavy thing that was and how it could be made lighter and cooler and those types of things. I thought for the performer and maybe a faster now with the AI, we could make Barney actually be talking in his own character voice instead of it being a remote controlled mouth. He could actually have the AI inside the costume and could be talking.
It was not a remote controlled mouth. I was the remote
It wasn't
control.
at the time. She was, maybe that's what I was proposing at the time, was a remote control. Were you the voice as well?
I wasn't the
That was,
voice. There was
they flew that in, right? That was post.
no, they were there. It was live.
They were live.
Yeah, 4 cameras, so they were live reading off the script, and then the songs were
So they would read
recorded.
live.
Yeah, but they had a live
Oh,
mic, so if I did a jump or if they wanted to add
ah,
something, we could do. We used to call it Dino Sync, so we would be
okay.
connected like that. So I
Okay.
know they wanted that direction of what you're talking about, because obviously it would be
Yeah,
a
I think
lot
that's what she
easier for
brought
the
me in for.
performer.
Yeah, so we did have the remote control stuff going on at the time, and she was interested in doing that because I guess that it would certainly, if the voice actor actually had a control of the mouth, or they were doing my motor mouth, which is
Mm,
a technology where your microphone actually triggers the mouth of the character.
wow.
They could have done that with Barney at the time, and you wouldn't have had to worry about manipulating the mouth while he was speaking. You could have just done the acting, which probably would have simplified your
Oh,
life a lot.
oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, but also, I mean, watching what I'm seeing today, the technology has advanced so much. It's just amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Well, is Barney, is he at any theme parks, or is it just on the production?
I think right now, well, they're not doing production right now. I think it's just doing events is what they're doing.
Okay,
Um,
events. Yeah.
but I actually did
So
one back in May of last year. I actually got back in the suit and did one again. And yeah, that remote control would have been great.
you know what? So what's interesting is, just like you heard my old man with the AI,
Yeah.
that's what we're working right now with a leading costume manufacturer. We are working with AI for costumes. So you could imagine Barney being able to talk as a costume through a speaker that's in him, on with his own voice, responding not by cues but simply by AI. So a
Wow.
child asks him a question, he answers. He tells them in Barney's voice, and of course inside the whole world of Barney. And that's true of any IP character. So Yoda, all of these characters would have that type of global library of replies built into them.
It's just amazing. Because when they were trying stuff, I mean, they tried some of that at some points, but it wasn't smooth. It was a little choppy.
Ah,
It looks like you've now got
okay.
from watching the old man
Yeah.
AI. I mean, it looked very smooth. It looked very natural.
Thank you. Yeah. We worked really hard on it, got a great team, and that's the goal, to make it look natural. And that's why we don't want we don't want synthesized voices. I don't want Siri talking through my characters, that kind of stuff. And because of that, we are pre-recorded. It's organic, but that's safer too, because you don't have synthesized computer making up phrases that maybe you don't want your character to be saying. So we're very protective of characters and their world, whatever they've created. If it's for children, then you'd want to know exactly what Barney was saying, and that's kind of what we're crafting here
Oh,
with Axtell
absolutely.
Intelligence.
That's
Yeah,
amazing that you have that control of what they say, but also I think it'd end up being choppy if it was synthesized. I think you lose
yeah,
that because one of the coolest things about Barney is that he was real to kids,
that's exactly right.
and so you want to
Yeah,
keep that. And if all of a sudden they can
it
tell
has
it's a
to.
computer talking, it doesn't work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Be horrible, and you can't do that with IP characters. They are going to be doing it with a ton of animatronics and digital characters, and they already are. But it's so fake. It's like, how many people are enjoying large conversations with Siri? None.
Right.
As soon as you hear it answer the weather, that's it. You know what it is, and it doesn't matter anymore. So our technology is really going to revolutionize that with costume characters, or any kind of a well-known fantasy character, or animatronic, or animated character.
So now, what all going in a little bit of different direction? What all ventriloquists have you worked with?
Well, Terry Fader is a very famous ventriloquist that won the 5th season of America's Got Talent.
Mm-hmm.
He is now the highest paid entertainer in Las Vegas history.
Wow.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. He's at the Mirage, and so I've built 5 or 6 puppets for him. He performs with my Trump and Vicky the Cougar, And I've built his Winston the Turtle for him in the past, and Julius, a lot of characters like that. Jay Johnson won a Tony Award for his work on The Two and Only, which is a Broadway musical or Broadway production that he did, a one-man show. And of course, he was famous for being on Soap back in the 70s. But he's still performing and fantastic performer. So also we work with Ron Lucas, making his vent mask and build his masks for him. And Jeff Dunham has bought some of our puppets, and he builds his own now, but he's performed with many of our puppets. And a lot of just, you name it. I mean, Nina Conti from England, people that are famous literally all over the world. We work with people in 80 countries.
That's got to be a heck of a challenge, though, working with them in different countries. Are there different specifications? Are you doing different things for different countries?
Yes. So, of course, we have regulations that we have to deal with in terms of electronics and such. But for just the puppet characters themselves, there's different sensitivities. For example, humor and such is very different all over the world, as you know. And I'm working with, I told you the guy in China right now, name is Dai. He is very famous with our chimpanzee character. We call him the cheeky monkey. And this character is so fun and so famous now in China with him as a personality. But it was a non-custom character. It was just right off the shelf. So now other people in China are buying the puppet and becoming famous with it, and it kind of waters down his, exclusivity, which there wasn't any. So now he's ordering an exclusive character. And so we're working with him on having to redesign the character to Chinese sensitivities, what they would want. And they've become very accustomed to that original character, but they need a different one now. So he's working with me on modifying it. It's very interesting working with him because he has to translate everything I say and vice versa, and does a wonderful job. So we're working with him, and with we're sending a new puppet, just went out to Ireland, and I'm working with another customer in England. The Diva's going overseas. We have that old man that's a vet. He's shipping soon. Just hundreds of puppets and animatronics are going out all the time every month.
And then you're working with theme parks as well?
Yeah. So our AI is really getting the attention of a lot of theme parks. There's a theme park in China that wants us to build AI into their characters so that you can walk around the park and talk. And of course, that presents challenges being in Mandarin. The AI has to be recorded and then coded in Mandarin. So there's challenges. We have to work with their techs on that. And then we've got near Dollywood, we have attractions around that area in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, and Six Flags has used our trees. Disneyland has used our original chimpanzee for the opening of like the Indiana Jones ride and such. And we have a lot of discussions going on with some of their employees on different potential projects and things. So.
Wow. So I'm guessing you'll find each client has their own specifications. They're looking for things a little bit different. And is there an aspect of trying to one-up each other? Is there a little bit of that?
As far as theme parks go, absolutely.
Or even clients in general?
Of course, yeah. And so, we have, when we're developing something for one client, it's all confidential. Some of the projects are, some aren't, but there's always NDAs and things. We're developing some characters right now for a theme park in San Diego, which will be fun to do.
All right. So what I want to know is, what is your favorite thing to do?
My favorite is the next thing. It always is. I'm I'm kind of a driven creative, and I've got something in the works at all times. And so I'm always on, my passion project is always the one I'm working on right now that's going to be delivered or come, in a couple of months or in a year. So I've got the R&D, we just finished doing this 3D print for the silicone molds, which was a huge deal. Landon Meyer, a mask maker, helped us to overcome some of the barriers of that. And so I just love going to that next level, designing digitally. But it is truly the next thing. Whatever the next thing is for me is what I'm passionate about. But I certainly have a great place in my heart for all the things we've done over 40 years, all the old patents and the inventions. And, that's all really, really great stuff to be part of our history.
Do you like to step back
Duncan,
every once in a while and go back to the beginnings?
Well, just in memories, this is one of our beginnings. This is little Duncan the Donut. And we actually did, that was a Christian Kids series that we did for a guy called Rob Evans, the Donut Man. But that's one of the things we shot in Texas, in Dallas, David Benware Productions, and Plano, Texas. We did a lot of work there as well.
I know David Benware. He worked for Barney for a while.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
David's a great, good friend. Yeah. Yeah, David also produced Camp AOK, which was potential pilot for PBS. It didn't end up going, but this is the characters from that David produced. Let's see where I can get up there high enough. These guys. On the very top show. Come on. Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
There, those guys. Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
I could just stare around that studio for hours.
Oh, I got to show you my animatronic chicken shows. Are you ready for this?
I don't know if I am, but let's do it anyways.
Let me warm these things up. I got to plug them in and get them ready. So let me tell you about these while they're getting warmed up.
All
These
right.
chickens right here are part of the Frizzle Chicken Farmhouse Cafe in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And it's a restaurant that has, they say, over 100 of these chickens in their restaurant. They're all animatronic. And I've got just 6 of them here. I'm going to turn it around so I get better optics and I can aim it better for you. All right, Rye, let her fly.
Oh, Steve, that's brilliant. This is our 14th episode, and I've never seen our producer Derek dance as much. He's having such a good time watching that. All right, I got to know. So talk me through this. Because the movements of the chickens are brilliant. They're very smooth, And it's
Thank
hysterical. You guys do all the recordings and everything there?
Yeah, we did the programming and we did the voices here, and um, we did. There's probably about 20 different songs that we've got pre-recorded that go off in this restaurant every 20 minutes, and then they go back to just clucking and laying eggs while you're eating your pancakes breakfast
Oh, that's
at this
brilliant.
restaurant. It's hilarious. So I don't know if you want to hear another one. We've got another one queued up if you want to see
Sure, I
it.
want to hear another one. I love that one. Yes.
Let's do a Star Wars.
Oh,
Star. We took the notes from John Williams' production of Star Wars here and put it to chickens.
well, Steve, now I see what you guys do late night around that place.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff. This is the stuff we really enjoy. Is we just enjoy the voices, the programming, the character development, and the music and the sound effects and the whole production.
Well, you know what I think is so important in this world these days is the creativity. You know, I think, especially with social media and with YouTube, that there's not as many original ideas. I think there's so much stuff that's kind of copied, and I'm seeing stuff in here I've never seen before. It's amazing the creativity that you have going on at your workshop.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's great. My original plan was to see if I could make the world a brighter or a happier place. And I started to do that as an entertainer. And then I realized what a challenge that was and how much greater it would be to send my products out through other entertainers that can do that. And so we've spread around the world. And I think we've actually raised the happiness level a degree or so. 4%.
You've
proven 4%,
raised the
Ryan.
happiness level in this studio more than 1 degree.
And hopefully the world a little bit, because we have people all over the world, including the guy that's going to be getting this diva pretty soon, that's going to be performing and making his audiences laugh with this. And every one of our puppets represent another audience, another part of the world. And we make innovations that entertain the world, and that's that help our entertainers entertain the world.
Well, I mean, think about how you look at the news and it's just depressing, and there's a lot of sad news out there. And all I've been doing is laughing at chickens for the last 5 minutes. I mean, I love that.
Yes. I know what
Very
you mean.
clever.
Um,
Do you
we
perform anymore?
just enough to put out our demo videos and such. No, I
Okay.
don't. I don't have the time anymore to be able to do
So I can imagine what a party is like with you.
that. Well, yeah, we actually have parties here in our shop with our staff, and it's a blast. We always show the highlight reels of our customers up on the screen here, and see what the next um, level of entertainment is. And we've got, America's Got Talent calls us and asks us what's in the works, and do we know of uh, any entertainers that are up and coming that they could feature. And so it's kind of exciting to be part of that.
They've had a lot of successful ventriloquists.
Yeah, they certainly have. It's been amazing to see so many winning, and it's put ventriloquism back on the map. It's been a wonderful thing with Terry Fader and Darcy Lynn. It's just been great.
Well, I think it's that same thing, right, of laughter. I've seen Darcy Lynn's material and I've seen Terry Fader's, and you just laugh. I mean, the creativity involved in what they do is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Do you know that like every famous ventriloquist has come out of Texas?
I didn't know that, but I'm a very proud
Yeah,
Texan, so I'm thrilled to hear that.
I know. I know you are. It's crazy. I mean, in fact, a little area, I guess, right outside of Dallas was Terry Fader, Ron Lucas, Jay Johnson, Jeff Dunham, and it's just amazing, just amazing.
Well, it's funny you
Well, I
say
don't
that
know what's in your water.
well, yes, I obviously had some of that, but it's amazing. People still don't understand that Barney was created here in Texas. They always think it
Yeah,
was New York or Hollywood, and there's a lot of talent. Kelly Clarkson's really not Burleson. She's not that far, where she was raised here. So there's a lot of talent that comes out of
well,
Texas.
yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's a lot of wholesomeness and whimsy. I'm from Midwest. I'm from Ohio, and there was always that kind of a concrete dinosaur park or the Route 66 stuff. Like the world's largest basket, which was a restaurant. that that kind of stuff. The
Well,
biggest
you were
thermometer on the way
obviously
to
drinking the
Vegas.
water in Ohio too. Just looking behind you, I can see that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's wonderful. I just love surrounding myself with creativity and creative people.
Do you have a personal favorite puppet or AI character you've created?
Well, I can't say right now.
Uh huh.
I'll be attacked. I know that I've got. I do really love this old man. I really love this guy. He's he's very near and dear to my heart. Actually, um, my grandfather was blind, and we used to sit and talk to him, and I used to watch his face wrinkle up, and since he couldn't see me looking at him and staring at him, I studied the lines in his face and stuff, and I think some of that's been captured here in this old guy
Isn't that
from my
amazing?
grandpa. So that was fun. So I do like him a lot, and of course it's always like I say, it's the next one. Um, but we do. Here's some more that we've made. This is let's see if I can. This is Chris Angel, the magician,
Uh huh.
and from Las Vegas. And this was for a Capital One commercial. There's the platypus. If you ever get a chance to see the platypus, the video online is. It went viral, went crazy. Let me grab him.
Well, and
Um,
we'll put the links to those videos on our
oh
page.
yeah. So the platypus video went viral. It's got 4 million views now. This little guy here.
Hi, I'm a platypus. That's what I am. I'm a platypus.
He saved our company in 2008 when we had the banking collapse. There was no orders were coming in, and I was going to have to lay off some employees, and we decided let's just rally, guys. Let's go around the shop and look for everything we can possibly find that we aren't using, resources that we're not using. So somebody found this gray fur. I saw our duck head, which was sitting over on the mold shelf, and I said, let's put this gray fur together with the duck bill, and let's make a platypus. And then so we made it, but I had no idea what to do with it, and so we wrote this song overnight, and it came to me in the morning in the shower, and we videotaped it, and it went viral. So that's kind of fun. Go look at the Papa Platypus video on YouTube.
And what year was that?
That was 2008, 2009.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
we'll
it's
look
still
at
going
it.
strong.
We'll put the link to it.
And so what happened was everybody started buying the platypus, and it saved our company. I didn't have to lay off my employees, and we were able to make it for a whole nother 6 months until the economy recovered again, when people started ordering regular stuff again.
So that's
we were
definitely
selling
one of your favorite puppets.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. This guy, pretty good. Stay up there. And all of these guys, there's just so many. This is a sea monster here. And he blows water out of his nose and pops bubbles. And we have a elephant that squirts water. This guy back here, this elephant is a classic character. A lot of people use him. This is Rocky Fox. Too cool, too cool. And this is that Triceratops that we were making in the other room. This is one in an egg right here. Just a ton. Here's a horse. Make you feel at home.
Hey, so Steve, I want to know. So, what are you working on next? Where do you see this going next?
So here's Blinking-Eyed Diva. This is animatronics. She's actually singing a song right now. But so what we do is we are pursuing the AI. That's our AI is one of our next big things that we're doing, and doing more with live virtual sets, which are projections behind performers that they can travel with rear screen projectors and have this magical world that they can perform in front of, and they can actually walk into rooms, and it's pretty fascinating. It's all magic, video magic done on the wall behind them as they walk. It pans, and they can go into jungles, and they can go underwater and climb mountains. It's just amazing.
And are you doing that now, or are you just working on that?
What's that?
Is that actually happening now, or is that something you're just building?
No, we've actually made several of them, especially with a company called Deluxe Puppets. And they're performing in theaters around the United States right now with some of our live virtual sets that are projected at 42 feet wide by 18 feet high, I believe. Huge projections of our animations. And we do 3D and 2D animations and videos and stuff. And that's all part of what we do for supporting characters. But you can see that on our websites, live virtual sets. And that's also fascinating. It's hard to demonstrate here. I can't do that because I don't have the projection set up. But it's a really interesting category of performance. And a lot of our puppeteers or ventriloquists can perform in front of them, but we're finding it's more theatrical and less practical to haul around to a single show.
Sure. Well, Steve, I can't thank you enough for letting us come into your world today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome. Really appreciate it.
I will be singing the chicken song all the way home today. I won't be able to get those out of my head. That is brilliant. Well, Steve, thank you so much for being on Purple Roads today. It has been just a pleasure going through your studio.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time and interest in what we're doing and helping make the world a better place on your own. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you for all the smiles. And Steve, we're going to have you back at some time if you'll come back, because I have just had a blast seeing all the things
Well,
you're working on.
I would love to do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching Purple Roads. Remember to keep your eyes, ears, and your heart open, and you'll find your purple road. I look forward to seeing you next week.